Waycross presents a forum for Northwest Local School District Board of Education. There are 5 candidates running for 2 open positions. The candidates are, in alphabetical order, Christine Colliver, Jim Detzel, Victoria Lowry, Nancy Slattery, Matt Tietzoth.
Welcome to yet another Waycross Election Forum. I'm Kurt Radel, Government Programming Coordinator, Waycross Community Media. We soon will start with a 2-minute opening statement from each of our panelists. But if you are watching us live tonight, October the 4th, you'll be able to be part of the election forum. You'll be able to email your questions to the candidates. If you're watching this program live, the email address will show up on the bottom of the screen, and it is live@waycross.org. That's live@waycross.org. Now, there are a couple rules that we need to go over if you're sending in an email, which we welcome. You must be a resident in the Northwest Local School Districts, and when you email your question, please include your name, your street address, and we will only use your first name and street address. Now, questions must be phrased for all the candidates to answer, not just to one particular candidate. Now, we've talked about what the candidates, who they are, and how you can email in. Now we begin with the opening 2-minute statement, and we begin with Ms. Christine Colliver.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here this evening. My name is Christine Colliver, and just a little bit about me. I've lived in the district for 21 years. I've been married to my husband, Dave, for 18 years. I have 2 children in the district. I have an 8th grader at Colerain Middle School and a 5th grader at Taylor Elementary. I'm a graduate of Western Hills High School, class of '90. I've spent most of my adult life working in the printing industry and as a small business owner. I'm an engaged parent in the district. I've started off as a room mom, volunteering in classrooms. For the last 6 years, I've been on the PTA, serving in various capacities, and currently as president. I have participated in several district-led committees, such as the Diversity and Equity Strategic Plan Committee, the Master Facility Community Forum, and currently the Master Facility Advisory Committee. And for the last 8 years, I've been intentional in fostering relationships with parents, teachers, administrators, and community members, and will continue to do so. Thank you.
2-minute opening statement from you, Mr. Detzel.
Hi, I'm Jim Detzel. I'm currently on the school board for Northwest. I'm in my 16th year. I'm also the vice president of the Butler Tech School Board in year 14. Born and raised here in Colerain Township, 63 years. Met my wife in high school at Northwest. We were both graduates of the district. I graduated in 1978. We have 3 daughters, all went through our schools. The 3 of them graduated from Colerain High School. I decided to stay in Colerain. It was a great upbringing. I've got my business here in Colerain Township, and been in the insurance business for 43 years, and just been on various committees, like Christine said, the Facilities Committee. I'm on the Legislative Committee with Butler Tech, which what we do is we go out and we call on our elected officials. So I'm in Columbus 2 or 3 times a year calling on our senators, Blessing and Lang, and all the other representatives. And then we go to Washington, D.C. a couple of times to call on our senators and representatives up there, just looking for more funding for schools. It's a good learning experience with what's gone on in the government here in the last 24 hours. So I really enjoy that, and just appreciate your vote on November the 7th. Thank you.
Ms. Lowry, your 2-minute opening statement.
Yes, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be on the ballot and to earn the votes of my neighbors and my friends who live here in Northwest Local Schools. Victoria Lowry. I was born in the district. In fact, I was actually born right across the street from Montford Heights Elementary School at the Mac Fire Department. I was raised up in the district, and I went to Coleraine High School. I went to college afterwards, have a degree in fine art and a degree in law, and I'm a lawyer. I currently am working as a prosecutor for the city of Cincinnati, and in that work I solve problems every day, all day, and there are always new problems, and I understand that that's probably what the school has to do with. There's always new things coming up, children that have different issues or different interests or different goals, and as a board member, I would have an opportunity to hear from the citizens, hear from the students, hear from the administrators, and figure out what the best policies are to put in place so that we can ensure the success of all the students in our district and provide integrity in what they're learning and give opportunities for people to participate, volunteer. A lot of people are talking about how they volunteer, but we want to really encourage everyone to get out there and show us what they can do and help the kids to succeed. I have been engaged. My daughter's a junior at Coleraine, and I've been doing all kinds of things with her as she's grown up in order to contribute, and I intend to continue to do that. And also on the board, I will be listening to the people who have ideas and concerns so that we can address them. Thank you.
Your opening statement, Ms. Slattery.
Hi, thanks for having me here tonight. My name is Nancy Slattery. I am a primary care physician with the Christ Hospital. My husband and I have lived in the district since February of 2003. We have one daughter. She is a senior in high school. She goes to a private Catholic high school. I have been a graduate of the Catholic University of America with a Bachelor's of Science in Biology. I then went on to the Ohio State University College of Medicine, where I graduated in the class of 1993. I then completed an internship in graduated in 1993 and completed an internship in residency in internal medicine at The Ohio State University in 1996. I've been in practice since then, primarily the entire time with the Christ Hospital, which is where I am now employed. I became interested in running for the school board because I believe that the best thing we can give our child after unconditional love is an excellent education. I have two nephews that graduated from Coleraine High School. I have coworkers who also use Coleraine High School. I have a great nephew who is at White Oak Middle School right now. And I think, if we don't improve our educational quality at the district level here, that we are going to run into problems, because what the kids learn and what they bring out into the community doesn't just stay in the local community. It goes out into the city, the state, and the country. And I think if we really want to continue to produce adults that are productive members of society, we need to improve the educational standards. And that is why I chose to run for school board. And I also feel like people who know me know that I am not a person who's very vocal, that I'm usually in the background under the radar. So if I'm choosing to put myself out there, it's because it's something I believe passionately in. Thank you.
Your opening 2-minute statement, Mr. Teesort.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Matt Teetsort. I'm currently on the Board of Education for Northwest Local, finishing up my first term. Thank you to Waycross Community Media for this opportunity to speak to the community tonight. I'm a lifelong resident of Northwest Local School District, a product of public education, having attended Pleasant Run Elementary, Pleasant Run Junior High, dating myself a little bit with that one, and Northwest High School. Married 29 years, and we raised our 4 sons in the district. They all attended and graduated from Coleraine High School. Our youngest graduated from Butler Tech just this year. I've been a marching band parent and a football parent at Coleraine High School. I'm very involved in the community. I've been with Boy Scouts my entire life as a youth, and then as a adult leader working with youth. Currently a trustee with the Coleraine Historical Society, involved with the Greater Groesbeck Community Group. This past few years, I've been a counselor for Otter Camp at Camp Christian, a week-long resident camp, working with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And I've also, in the past, coached soccer at Olympian Club and Soccer City, working with youth in that capacity. And I'd like to continue serving the community on the Board of Education to help to improve the district. More importantly, the overall education of all our students. Every student in the district needs to exceed or meet and or exceed their potential. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statements. Now we'll begin the question portion. And the first question is, what do you think the top 3 issues are facing the Northwest Local School District Board of Education? And we begin with you, Mr. Detzel.
I think the first thing is our facilities. We got a couple of schools that are 100 years old. And as everybody knows, we failed a bond issue that we had put up to try and build 4 new schools. So we have to think out of the box how we can get the community on board. You know, if that's combining schools, doing something different. And that's what right now the Facilities Committee is going through this, and they're going to present to the board here coming up in the next month or so. And that's community members, teachers, administrators, seeing what we can do to, you know, take care of these facilities and try and get something done, something built eventually, if we can, you know, get the community on board. You know, maybe not asking for such a large bond issue, you know, something like that. The other thing I think is like the diversity, inclusion, you know, have an open, you know, talking about that. So, you know, when there's a problem, we all can get together and come to a decision. But other than that, I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think that's what we need to do.
Ms. Lowry, what do you think are the top 3 issues facing the Northwest Local School District Board of Education?
Well, so I think there are a lot more than 3 issues, but I do think that I could name a few that I think are top. One would be that I feel like there's a real lack of faith in the public system these days, and among my friends, parents. I hear a lot of grumbling, a lot of discontent about how things are being handled, about just different interactions their kids are having. And so I want to help rebuild the brand of the public school so that the community and the families that attend would have faith in what we're doing, have faith that we care about them and that we're listening to them, have faith in the integrity of what their children are being taught, that they're being taught the truth, that they're not being taught with some agenda one way or the other. I think also that we need to hear more from the people. I think that the board does a great job of communicating out. I have signed up for every email that Northwest sends, and I am inundated with information. But I don't see a lot of intake, and I think we could do better at that so that we can have more opportunities for people to share ideas and be heard. Not only complaints, but ideas of how we can do things better, things that people want to contribute. And what would be a good third thing is money. We have to figure out how to do more with less. We have a very tight budget. We have to, I know the board has figured out ways to try to leverage state dollars for our district. The bond levy, of course, was a way to do that, and it didn't succeed. I heard from some community members that the kids' academic scores need to go up before they'll support something like that. We got to change the attitude.
Ms. Slattery, what do you think the top 3 issues are facing the Northwest Local School District Board of Education?
I think the primary problem is we need to improve academic achievement, and ways to do this is we need to decrease absenteeism among students and among educators. If you're not there, you can't learn, and if you're not there, you can't teach. And the students need teachers who are there consistently and who know them well and know how to deal with them. I also think we need to make sure we have discipline in the classroom to help academic achievement. We need discipline that is supported by the administrator and also by the parents. And that means we need to make sure there aren't distractions, whether it be behaviors, attire that students choose to wear, or whether it's cell phone usage in the classroom. I also think that we need to definitely very much promote early literacy. We've got the science of reading going already, which is great, but I think we also need to start early and get the parents involved as much as we can in the literacy program, because if you're not on target after 3rd grade, you're not suddenly going to get on target after that, and that's why we graduate students that are illiterate. So I think that's the primary goal, is academic achievement. After that, I think funding and spending are issues. I think we need to talk with our state legislators. We maybe not be the affluent community that they target us as being, and maybe we could organize something with them that changes things so that we can get more funding. I also think we need to look at, past people who have gone to this school, to look for donations from them, to look for partnerships with businesses in the community to help with the schools. Because obviously these students are going to be their future employees if they're not already working for some of them. And we need to have them take part in this. This is a community project. We need them involved as well. And then we need to be good stewards of what we do have. If we want to ask people for money, we need to show that we're going to take care of what we have. We can't let buildings go into decay and then think people want to build new buildings for us. We need to be responsible for what's going on in those buildings.
Mr. Teasort, what do you think the top 3 issues are facing the Northwest Local School District Board of Education?
So as we're in the business of educating students, I think everything needs to come around to academics. And the top 3 issues in the district and, related to academics, first, I think our buildings and our facilities, both repairs on what we currently have and new facilities, if that's the way we need to go. I also think we need to expand on our career tech in our facilities in our district, and continue our partnership with Butler Tech. But we have 2 fantastic facilities on site that are for strictly our students in the district, and we can only benefit by expanding on those. And, second is transportation. I think transportation is so important. If the kids aren't in the classrooms, they're not learning, and if we're not transporting them to school as we should be, that's a serious issue. And it's a nationwide issue, shortage, but we need to do our best to navigate that locally and deal with that in our district to get the kids in the classrooms. And lastly, I think we need to the issue is our state report card. It's like I hear so much about a failing district, and in our most recent report card, there were some improvements. As there's definitely some things that we still need to improve on, but our district didn't get to this point overnight, and it's not going to be an overnight fix. But those are the top 3 issues to improve academics in our district. Thank you.
Ms. Colliver, what do you think the top 3 issues are facing the Northwest Local School District Board of Education?
So thank you very much. My top 3 concerns facing the district right now, the first one being discipline. We're seeing a lot of poor behavior in our classrooms, on our buses, at our football games. It's across the board, and it's getting out of control. And I don't feel like we have the proper discipline measures put in place to actually kind of mitigate this and to put an end to it if they're getting real consequences. We went from a zero tolerance policy to restorative practices, and I think we need to find something in the middle to get control of our classrooms. And when classrooms are having disruptions and teachers are having to stop to mitigate those disruptions, they're losing out on instruction time. The children are losing out on instruction time as well. It can be very stressful for teachers to have to deal with this on a daily basis. And bus drivers too, they deal with it on a daily basis as well. And I think with all of that, it can be very stressful. And I think that can cause some of the attendance problems that we have amongst our teachers and our drivers. Another area that I am concerned with is our academics, with a focus on early literacy. In the last report card, the 22-23 report card, we had a 55.8% proficiency in third grade reading with a 99.6 promotion to fourth grade. And to me, that is just unacceptable. Early literacy is the cornerstone. Running out of time, sorry. So it's the cornerstone, and parent engagement is also a third concern. We really need to find out how to get our parents involved.
Now, our next question is, what is unique about your skills and experience that you would bring to the Board of Education? And we begin this time with Ms. Lowry.
Yes, I'm very unique, and I have skills in decision-making, in finding resolutions where there's like a very narrow path that might find. In my job, I'm talking about justice, but nothing's ever just hard and fast, really. It's very vague sometimes, and I think in the school district, we're gonna have a lot of different types of problems that come up, nuanced problems. So I'm the type of person who's gonna dig in, who's gonna look for people who understand it better than I do to inform me, to look at data and analyze issues, and find solutions that have worked for other districts, in other districts here in Cincinnati, other districts outside of the state even. I'm good at gathering that information, and I'm able to digest it and figure out what it means. And I'm also going to understand the scope of our authority so that we know what we can do and what we should be staying out of. And I also, one of my skills is creative thinking. You know, I'm an artist, so always trying to come up with a new idea. I'm a great listener, so that's why I keep saying I want to hear from the people in our community, from the students, from the parents, because they're the ones who have the answers, and we just need to be listening to them. And if people are concerned about the discipline in the schools, I would say that showing the students that we care about them and that we are giving them the best opportunity here, then they are going to want to sit down and learn.
Ms. Slattery, what is unique about your skills and experience that you would bring to the Board of Education?
As I mentioned before, I'm a primary care physician. So in that career, you are required to be a very good listener. So I'm used to being a listener, to hear people's problems, to ask them questions, to further pursue areas that pertain to their problem. I'm used to, examining that patient, to examine the problem, and then to come up with a solution for that problem. And I do that all day, every day. And I also have the ability to know when I need the help of someone else. You know, as a physician, a lot of times we collaborate with specialists. You can't know everything. And I think that's the same as being a member of the school board. You're gonna have people come to you with problems. They're gonna be people of all different cultures and socioeconomic statuses, which is the same as what the population I deal with as a physician. So you can recognize that people come from different perspectives, and you can try and help them reach a good agreement. But you also have to know what you don't know so that you know when to go out and search for other help and other information. I believe that those skills are very much needed for a school board. And sometimes you have to think a little bit differently, think outside of the box when you're working as a physician. And that's also something that's needed on the school board as well. So I think those are skills that very much equip me for the school board. The other thing is I have a great love of education. I think reading is the greatest thing you could ever teach an individual. It's the key to the universe. It opens up so many doors and windows for you. So I have that passion for it, and I would want to promote that among parents and students, that reading is your primary building block to the future. And I think in that respect I could be helpful on the school board as well.
Mr. Teesort, what is unique about your skills and experience that you would bring to the Board of Education?
So what is unique about my skills and experience? With raising my family here in the community, I'm invested in the community. As I described earlier in my opening statement, I'm very engaged in my community engagement, working with the youth in various capacities. I have a willingness to listen and learn, and I've taken the opportunity, serving on the last 4 years, to participate in various training opportunities through the Ohio School Board Association to advance my abilities as to be an effective school board member and serve the community. I take my decisions very serious and try and look at them from various angles and aspects, and don't make quick decisions. And those, I think, are the unique about my skills and experience that I bring to the board. Thank you.
Ms. Colliver, what is unique about your skills and experience that you would bring to the Board of Education?
Thank you. I think that my greatest skill set is that I love to foster relationships with people. I'm very much a people person. So I love to be intentional about engaging with them. And in my work career, I spent most of that time in the quality assurance part of it. So attention to detail is something that I've really fine-tuned, and I think that could be helpful when going over policies and just anything that may come across. And I like working as a team, and I am also very much interested in learning new things, and this is certainly a new thing for me. So that's pretty much it.
Mr. Detzel, what is unique about your skills and experience that you would bring to the Board of Education?
I think I'm a good listener. When somebody comes to us with a problem, I can listen, sit down, hash it out with them, come to a conclusion, come to a solution, that tries to get everybody on the same page. I'm a good motivator. I was a coach for 13 years at Coleraine, cross country and track, and motivating kids. And it's not easy to go out and say, okay, we have 8 miles to run today, and with kids today, it's tough to do. And I think I'm very good at that, to motivate people to, help us out, get our education where it needs to be. And a good communicator. There hasn't been a person I've come across that I can't talk to or can't, see where they're coming from. I may not agree with them, but I can communicate, and, we can, have good conversation and try and, get to the bottom of the problem that they're having. Another thing is, I see out there's 5 million jobs that are going to go unfulfilled in the career tech realm that we deal with. And I see kids are coming out of our career tech schools. Our welders are coming out making $60,000 at 18 years old. We have companies just beating our doors down, wanting more and more kids, because that type of job is just, everybody that's in that realm today is, they're going to be retiring here in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And they need more workers, they need more kids, and, that's just one example, on the welding end of it. We went from 25 kids to 95 kids in the last 2 years because there's such a need for career tech. And I see that is out there, and I know it's a need that we need to address, for our school district and for our kids. It's just another alternative than going to college or going to trade school. There's always another option I'm out there looking for to give kids another chance at a different type of job.
You can have the opportunity to participate in the election forum. You can email your questions to us at live@waycross.org. That's live@waycross.org. Be sure that you phrase your question where all the candidates can answer to that question. Now, we have a question from Rose. Can you tell us what your policies would be relating to the availability of controversial books to students? And we begin with Ms. Slattery.
Yes, thank you for the question, Rose. I do believe that we have to uphold community standards as to what is acceptable for our children to view or to be read to them. I do not believe any books have been banned in the Northwest School District. There have been books that have been called into question, but those books have not been banned. They have been put in the principal's office and are still allowed to be checked out with parental consent. I think that we need to be very cognizant that we need to make sure the material we're presenting to children is age appropriate. We do not want pornographic material going to children. We have movies that are rated. Why would we not rate books too? And if there's books that are considered pornographic, we can have a committee to look at those. Or maybe we should even have a committee decide whether we even order the book at first. When I had asked Superintendent Yater about how some of these books got into the population, he said that the librarian selects the books. He didn't act as though there were any kind of committee that would oversee that. Now, I know they currently have put in a committee that looks at some of these books, but I don't think it should be anybody, one person's authority to choose what's appropriate for everybody in the school. Also, if those books are something you really want your child to read, they're available at the public library. They're available at bookstores. Nobody's keeping you from looking at those books. If you really feel that dedicated to your child getting that information, you're more than welcome to go to any public library, bookstore, Amazon, and order those books. It's not banned, it's just not recommended to be on the bookshelves.
Mr. Teesort, can you tell us what your policies would be relating to the availability of controversial books to the students?
Okay. Well, thank you, Rose, for the question. I can speak to how I've responded in the past recent years on some books that have been challenged in our district. And while they have not been banned, we as a board chose to remove 3 books from our library shelves in our high school libraries and place them in the principal's office to seek parental consent to check out those books. When I first learn of a challenged book, the first thing I do is I request this book from the library and check out the book myself, read it from cover to cover for myself to form my own decisions and considerations of the content of the book. We as a district, we have a policy of having a committee that would review the book. The committee is made up of staff and parents. And in the 3 books that were challenged in the recent years, that the committee, each book was recommended to leave on the shelf. Now, I take that into consideration, the committee recommendation of staff and parents, the overall book, and whether it's age appropriate for the schools in question, because I think there's a difference between K through 5 and even middle school and a high school library when it comes to controversial material. And take into consideration the content of the book overall, the theme, and whether it's appropriate. And I kind of compare it to like movie ratings. What I think that book would be. Would it be PG-13, rated R, rated X, or what have you? And in each of the 3 books that were challenged, I kind of felt they fell more along the lines of PG-13 and that they were appropriate for high school students preparing our young adults to be, in the community. Thank you.
Ms. Colliver, can you tell us what your policies would be relating to the availability of controversial books to the students?
Yes, I believe that books in our libraries should all be age appropriate, whatever libraries they're in. And the content of the books should also be monitored as well. I am the one who has submitted 3 books for review for sexually explicit content for no other reason other than that, and had asked those books to be looked at. And the board had voted to kind of shelve those and for parental consent. And to me, that's fair because this material is not okay for minors. Yet, if you would like your child to read it and have access to it, by all means. I don't want to stop anyone from access to a book. I don't agree with book banning. I just feel like there are things that are appropriate in school libraries, and then there are things that are not. And it is the job as a school board to make sure that those policies are in place to keep those kinds of material out of the hands of children. Thank you.
Mr. Detzel, can you tell us what your policies would be relating to the availability of controversial books to the students?
Well, as it's been said, we had 3 books that Christine brought to the board, and I read the books, saw the excerpts in the books. I have 3 daughters, and my daughters at ages of 13, they're obviously older, married, got their own kids now. But I said, you know what? I don't want my 13-year-old kid reading these. I don't think they're age appropriate. I came up with the solution. Well, we don't want to ban books. Let's make sure that the books are given to the principal. And if you as a parent want your child to read the book, call the principal up. Hey, I want my child to read this book or that book, then give it to them. I think, like Nancy said, those books are right at the public library. That if these kids really want them, they can go get them. But I just think, with the community standards that we have, I just don't think those books are age appropriate for kids that could be 13 years old that can check them out of the library. And we didn't want to ban books, which we didn't. I think it was a good solution, to come up with, having the parent be involved on what their kids are reading and what they're looking at when it comes to, if you say rated R, rated X, whatever you want to call it. I think it was a good solution to that.
Ms. Lowry, can you tell us what your policies would be relating to the availability of controversial books to the students?
Yes, thank you, Victoria Lowry. I'm going to take your question to mean a little something different, Rose. And that is because I care what you mean by controversial. And I think that some books are controversial because of the message that they are giving to our children about the way the government works, about the way corporations work, about how racism works. And I think those are controversial on occasion, and those are hot topics. And I think in a marketplace of ideas, which is what a literary array in a library would be, the children should have the opportunity to read books and make decisions for themselves about what they think of the world, and the more information that they're provided so that they can make sound, informed judgments about who they want to be and how they want to behave is good. And so when you talk about supplying books to children through our library, I think it's very important to know why we select each book. And it's not that we would ban a book, but we deselect books all the time because we don't provide them in the library. So I like the idea that the current board members have suggested, is that a committee might be the way to go, so that we can analyze every book that we're spending tax dollars on and decide why we want our kids to have that available to them. What lesson are we teaching in that content? Of course, I want things to be age appropriate. I don't want children to be given a lot of adult ideas when they're not ready for them. But when I was a young girl, I was underlining stuff in Judy Blume, and we were sharing the book around, and we were giggling about it.
We are now going to move from 2-minute statements to 1-minute answers to the questions. And the next question is, what are some of the things that you see in the school district improve? And we go to Mr. Tsort.
I think some of the things the school district has improved, and we're always striving to be better, is in 2021 we promoted Daryl Yater as our newest superintendent of the district. And one of the things that we tasked him with was collaborating with the building leadership and the employees, and changing the culture of the district so that the employees were heard and welcomed and appreciated. And I think that it's a work in progress. Like I said before, we didn't get to this point overnight. It's not going to be fixed overnight. But I think we're improving in that area. Thank you.
Ms. Culliver, what are some of the things you see in the school district improve? You have 1 minute.
One thing that I have seen improve over the years is the community involvement with the district. I think Daryl does a good job of engaging with the community as far as having events, making them accessible, getting information out to the community for whatever it may be, building facility plans or the state of the district. So I really like seeing that. I think that's one thing that's really improved.
Detzel, what are some of the things you've seen the school district improve? And you do have the 1 minute.
The first thing I think is the 3 new schools that we built 3 years ago. We had already, our treasurer has refinanced and saved the taxpayers millions of dollars. I think that's a great thing. We've done such a good job at saving. We're supposed to have a levy that was operating levy to go up here this year. And with the savings that we have done, we told the community our expenditures wouldn't go over 3% a year, which we haven't, and we've put this off for 5 years. This levy that was supposed to go up now, we put it off another 5 years. We've done such a good job, with that. And I think that comes from the leadership of our treasurer and, like Matt said, our superintendent. We're slowly but surely getting our test scores up, which, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But it's slowly but surely, but I think we're improving.
Ms. Lowry, what are some of the things you've seen the school district improve?
I see a lot more support for the teachers. I hope they'd agree with me, that they are valued and they are empowered to run their own classrooms and teach the children that are in front of them the way those children need to be taught. I also see that we are dealing with a lot of students out in the Butler Tech program. I think that's excellent. I think a lot of kids are really getting a lot out of that, and some of them are career ready, some of them go to college after that, but these are opportunities that our high school students have to really find their way. When they become adults, they're going to actually have their career path set out for them because of the skills that they built right here in our high schools. Also, I think if the buildings that we have already built are any model, then we can get the next ones done.
Ms. Slattery, what are some of the things you've seen the school district improve?
I think one of the important things that I noticed on the current report card was that the GAP score got 4 stars, and I think that's a tremendous thing, and the teachers should be acknowledged for that, because that's a big task that they undertook. I also think they've done some work on the transportation system this year. Not everybody may be happy with it, but I think it has improved from what it was last year. So I think that was definitely a needed change, and I think they did a good job working on that. The other thing is I think they must have stirred up some controversy, because as we look at it now, we've got 3 individuals running for school board who have never run before. So I think they have heightened public awareness about things going on in the school district and gotten a variety of people involved who maybe had not been involved before. And I think that's very good. And I do think the school talk programs that Superintendent Yater does and his State of the District talks, I think are very good and very, very good for the community.
Our next question is, what accomplishments are you most proud of? And we begin this time with Ms. Culliver, 1 minute.
What accomplishments am I most proud of? That would be my children. They are very smart. They are, in my opinion, getting the best education. I love this district, and their teachers that they've had over the years have been amazing. And that's what I'm most proud of, and I want to be able to be a part of that as they go through the rest of their years. And I want every parent to have that experience. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Mr. Detzel?
I think the education that my 3 daughters got, very successful. I have a daughter that works for the Department of Defense in Los Alamos, New Mexico. And I've got another daughter that does cancer research, another daughter that's in charge of the social for DSW. So there's 3 different types of jobs our kids got by going to the same school district, and they're all in different areas, and they're very successful. Another thing is the work that I do for Butler Tech. When Rob Portman was our senator, he went on the Senate floor and spoke about Butler Tech for 10 minutes, just telling what a good program it is, looking for, you know, for these kids. We're just giving them another opportunity, you know, because we went up there to try to get funding for our career tech, which goes through the Perkins funding that Congress votes on. So, you know, very proud of that, you know, that we got to, you know, be mentioned, and he talked about us for 10 minutes on the Senate floor. That doesn't happen very often.
Ms. Lowry?
Yes, sir. I think I'm most proud tonight that I'm in front of all of you and that I've built myself into the type of person with the skills and abilities to serve the board, and that's why I have gotten myself onto the ballot. I have gone through my life and lived the way I wanted to live, and I have sort of gone a long, slow journey, but I have found that I am capable and I am resilient, and I believe that the kids in our district deserve somebody who has energy to fight for them, and I'm proud that I have now put myself out here. Of course, I will mention my daughter because she is amazing, as all of the daughters on the panel must be, and she is an inspiration to me and another reason why I'm here tonight.
Ms. Lowry?
I would echo again what the other ladies have said. My daughter's my greatest accomplishment. She's my miracle baby. Love her to death. And she's doing very well. She's a senior in high school and has a bright future ahead of her. The other thing I would say, too, is that my parents always said, stand up for something or you'll fall for anything. And I feel like I'm here to live up to their legacy.
Ms. T-Stork? What accomplishments are you most proud of?
Well, on a personal note, I'm proud of the 4 sons that we've raised. Most recently, my youngest, Daniel, Danny, who graduated last year, he was at Butler Tech in the aviation exploration program, and he's now already at 18 years old, has completed his first phase of his pilot license, has his private pilot license, and is flying planes overhead. So I'm very proud of that. But I think more importantly, in relation to the district, I'm proud of one of the things we as a board do is we hire and evaluate the superintendent, and he's the person to lead the district. And in 2021, due to the retirement of our previous superintendent and moving on, we went through a national search. We had applicants from as far away as Denver, and it became clear that Daryl Yater was the man, in my opinion, to lead our district forward and change the culture, not be more of the same of the previous superintendent, and be able to lead the district in his own way.
1 minute for the closing statements, and we begin with Mr. Detzel.
I'd like to thank you, Kurt, tonight for having us here. I've enjoyed my 16 years so far, and hopefully I can get another 4 years, and appreciate everybody, their vote. I just, like I said earlier, I was born and raised here in this district, raised our kids here, went to school here, graduated here, got our business here, still live here. It's a great place to live, and a lot of people go away, but we stayed, myself and my wife, and we love being here, and I just want to give back to the community, and that's what I need.
Ms. Lowry?
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Victoria Lowry. Important for you to remember that on Election Day, Victoria Lowry. I appreciate being here. I really think I am the right person to be in that room, in that boardroom. And I hope that you've heard enough from me today. If you haven't, check me out on Facebook and Instagram. And also, I just want to tell you that I care about your kids. And I want excuse me, each and every one of them to succeed, and I know that it's going to be a lot of work, and there's not going to be any easy solutions, but working together with the other board members, which I'm quite capable of doing, we are going to make this district better and better, And we aren't going to see people leaving for other school districts, and we're not going to see people leaving our community. We're going to see them staying right here because this is where they want to be.
Ms. Slattery.
Yeah, thank you also for having me here. Having never been on school board before, I do realize that if I am elected, I will have a large learning curve to learn how to function on the school board. And that is something I'm willing to spend the time and the energy to do. I also feel like the public school system should be the model school system. I think ed choice is a wonderful thing, but then I also think it's a very sad thing that we have to have it, because we should have excellent public schools. Money is thrown at it. There is no reason why we can't have excellent public schools. We need the right leadership. We need the right motivation for our teachers and our students so that we can be the premier example of what schools should be. Thank you.
And Mr. Teasdorf.
So my name is Matt Teetsort. I'm running for re-election. I really feel that it's just as it was 4 years ago. For me, it's a call to serve the community, if the community will have me. And when I came time to decide whether to run for re-election or not, it ultimately came down to, I don't think I'm quite finished yet with what we want to do as far as improving the district, moving the district forward, expanding on the state report card, and moving forward and providing excellent opportunities for all students in our district. Thank you.
Ms. Colliver.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us tonight. I love this district, and I have a vested interest in seeing it flourish. And I want our district to become the head turner that all other districts are looking at to see, oh my gosh, what is Northwest doing over there? I mean, they're making great strides, yet right now we're constantly looking to other districts. I don't come wrapped in college degrees. I don't come with Fortune 500 business experience, but I'm a mom. And nothing is more fierce than a mom fighting and advocating for their children. And in this case, it's 8,093 of them. And I will fight fiercely for each one of them so that they succeed. Thank you.
Thank all of you for joining us this evening. You can watch all of our election forum programs online at waycross.tv. Register to vote by October 10th. Voting is on November 7th. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Government Programming Coordinator. We'll see you at the polls on November 7th.
Waycross takes no position on candidates or issues. We conduct these forums so that our viewers may be better informed voters for the November 7 election.